here on PHLY Union podcast, we want to take time to do a SWOT analysis. Now, we've seen a lot so far in not only just the 2 preseason games, because we actually didn't see anything for the second one, but we've seen a lot of just Union soccer, what we want better, what can be improved. So a SWOT analysis, as we are 1 month away, I feel like, and JP actually had this fantastic job. Like, it's time we do this. We've done a lot of talk around, what we would like to have happen and what we think is going to happen. But let's talk about what, we've seen with 1 month out. So as a SWOT, what it stands for is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So starting with the biggest strength for the Philadelphia Union. Let's start positive.
Yeah.
What is the biggest strength for them as we're 1 month out heading into the 2024 season, guys? I'll let you guys go first.
Yeah, you got to look at that front three that's had the most goals in MLS over the last couple of years. That's probably your biggest strength on the field right now. And then you've also got to look at the home field advantage. Don't even have to give off any records or anything. People know if you've paid attention to the Union over the last couple of years. So yeah, I think those are the 2 big strengths for me going into the season that you can always rely on, or you should be able to rely on, and hopefully as good as that front three has been, I think there's room for improvement from both Gazdag and Ua. Obviously, Ua hasn't quite fulfilled expectations for some people. And Gazdag, while he scored a load of goals last year, most of them were from PKs. Mm-hmm. So, even adding 3-4 goals from open play puts him in that Golden Boot conversation, and also gives Union probably a couple more points on the board, which could give you a much better position. We know how important saving points is in this league.
For sure.
So yeah, I think those are the 2 strengths going into the season right now.
I'm going to go with the strength that probably could use a little bit of a comeback this year, and that's the back line.
Dang it, that was mine. But your reasoning might be different than mine.
Well, I think last year they took a step back. There was a lot of goals that they allowed compared to what they did in 22. So that's why I think they need to have a comeback season this year. But there was also some different looks in the back line. Obviously, you saw the implementation of the 3-back with Damian Lowe stepping up here. But overall, you look at the depth, I think that's why it's a stronger suit, because the starting lineup, Kai, Glezis, Elliott, and I guess now will be Harriel, that's really strong. But even look behind them, and Mbaizo's still going to be here. Love that behind them. Damian Lowe, we just talked about. I'm intrigued by Makahanya. We don't know what the future is of Brandon Craig, but if he's back, obviously that makes it even stronger. And we haven't talked about LaFleur, who we got from Houston's Academy as well. I've heard a lot of good things too, and I expect him to be in some type of mix there. Let's not forget, Matt Real is still hanging around Philly too.
Out there.
He's kind of a vet now, which is funny, put in air quotes there. But it's a unit that's still strong, needs to have a little bit of a comeback, and it's got depth. It's probably the most deepest unit that we have there.
So those are a couple of the main reasons why the back 5 is definitely the strength of the Union for me. So when you look defensively at the Union compared to other teams, you also have guys that have played a lot of minutes together. Look at Glesnes, Elliott, and Blake specifically, but even Kai, ever since he came to the Union, they've logged a lot of minutes together, which defensively is huge, that you have that understanding of your rotations, your movements. The goals that I saw them give up in the preseason game were actually just because of that. It wasn't the usual group together. It was a mixture of different players in the mix. So I feel like the back 5, and then having Damian Lowe, having Mbaizo, Matt Real, players that can step in and keep the same level for the most part, makes them the most stable unit of the entire roster, in my opinion, because I don't feel as nervous defensively for the Union. I do feel like last year they had issues because they were just under so much pressure, which is where, as we get deeper into this, that'll lead to one of my weaknesses and opportunities. Under so much pressure, when you're defending over and over and over again, you're after a while destined to give up a goal.
Yeah.
And then you're talking game after game where it's coming down to 1 goal being the difference, or it's scoreless. It's just so much pressure on that back unit. So I think their strength, they've got leadership. That's where the majority of their major minute holders are. That's where the majority of their best players are. Let's be honest. You look at their talent across this roster, some of their most talented players, Andre Blake, Jacob Glesnes, and Jack Elliott, right there, and Kai Wagner. So their best attack and defense and everything about this team, I feel like the engine runs through the back 5.